Hello, and you are listening to The Professional Artist. I'm Echo Chernick, and we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Simulcast on YouTube and Facebook. Please like, follow, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And I am super excited to have my friend Dan Dos Santos on with me today. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Hi, Echo. How are you?
Good. You have been so busy, so I'm glad that I was able to pin you down to come on and visit with me today.
Yeah, sorry it's taken a minute.
But not like the first time that I met you, that 1 year where you were doing that job for Marvel, you did not have a second to spare.
No, like literally not a second.
No, like literally, you weren't even eating. You were just like, painting and, eating and painting at for like, I think a year straight. So yeah. I'm glad you have a little more time now to breathe.
Yeah, things are getting better. I'm getting my life back on track now.
So, yeah, we have listeners all over the world. Hopefully a lot of them know who you are, but in case they don't, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and everything about you.
My name is Dan Dos Santos, and I'm proud to call myself an illustrator. I guess I'm an artist of multiple media, but I like Illustrator. Most of what I do is commercial illustration, so primarily book covers. I do a little bit of comics, a little bit of film and video games, but most people, if they know my work, either know it from trading card set that I recently did for Marvel or 20 years of book covers. Brandon Sanderson, Patricia Briggs, Jim Butcher, Patrick Rothfuss. I've worked with a lot of good authors over the years, so I've been fortunate.
You've been doing this a little bit, just for
a long time,
a week or two. Yeah, so maybe you should do this for a living. What do you think?
I'm winding down. I'm getting ready to not retire, but I've done book covers for 25 years, just about. So it's.
Wait, didn't you just say you built a new studio?
I'm in the process of it. I'm hoping. Yeah.
I'm winding down, so I'll just build this new studio. Okay.
Yeah, that's for me though. That's for me to paint.
So you're going to do more of your own things now?
I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I think I'm trying to cut back on commercial work and maybe do more private commissions, but maybe it's gallery work. Maybe it's my own comic. I have no idea. I'll figure it out.
I hear it's kind of hard to cut back on commercial work because
it is. It's hard to say no to those jobs, but it's honestly, we'll talk a little bit about this, I'm sure, but it sounds privileged to say, but once you start doing this professionally, it's this snowball effect and it never stops. Like it just never stops unless you deliberately say kind of no to certain things. And I've been I did my first vacation in quite literally 15 years this summer. That it's I can't do that forever. I've been talking how long I'm going to take some time off. So I'm actually, the only way to take time off is to say no to those jobs and make.
And then someone brings you a job and you're like, oh, but that looks like so much fun.
Yeah. So
I do that one.
Yeah. Magic is not a secret. Magic is doing a Marvel crossover thing. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll take that job. It's my two favorite properties stuck together. But yeah, immediately 2 days after being I'm gonna take a break. And then I was like, oh, I guess later I'll take a break.
I'll take a break after this one job. It's like a drug, right? It's I'll take a break after this one last chip, like a chip, like potato chips. It's
it is a drug. And there's a lot of other stuff in there. There's fear and stuff in there. I'm the primary breadwinner for my family. So it's hard to say no to that stuff. You're always worried well, maybe they won't call back. So
what if I say no to this one and there's not another one?
Yeah, exactly.
They won't call again. So Todd Lockwood says hi. Hi Todd, how you doing? So anyway, so
are pretty close, aren't you? You and Todd live pretty close together, don't you?
Well, closer than we live to you. Yes, you're in the other coast. Right. So yes, Todd is a couple hours south of me now. We lived closer, but we're both in Washington State, and you're in North Carolina, I think.
Yep.
Right. So, and where did you said you went? I think you went to college somewhere, right? Where did you go to college?
I went to the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. I kind of the Connecticut, New York area. North Carolina is a new thing for me. So,
yeah. What year did you go? Did you go there?
I went to SVA from 1996 to 2000.
Okay, I went to Pratt, so we were pretty close. Nice. So, but I graduated in 95.
Oh, cool.
So cool. So yeah, I had a friend that went to SVA. So I liked being in New York. I definitely liked going to art school in New York. But
yeah,
my big question.
There was a good time for it too. Like when I went to SVA, it was the hot spot for illustration and comics. My graduating class was just remarkable.
Oh yeah. I definitely liked going to art school, and it was a different time then. And a lot of people come on here onto the show and ask me, do I have to go to art school? Is it a thing? Do I need to go to art school? Can I learn myself? And inevitably your name comes up a lot. And usually it's like, oh, I've taken dance classes. You should take dance classes. Or they say, I really want to take dance classes. Or they go, oh, I wish I could take dance classes. So your name comes up a lot. So why don't you tell everybody about your classes and about all the other things you can do instead of art school, since that's a big question that people ask a lot.
I do. I love teaching. Some teachers are just good teachers, and they're not necessarily professionals in the field. I'm proud to say that I like to do both, but I've been fortunate. I've taught every single grade level from K through post-grad professionally, taught art anyways, which I'm really proud of. I did a lot of substitute teaching and stuff when I was younger, when I was fresh out of college. And so I got a chance to work from everywhere from 5-year-olds to like 60 something now. A lot of what I teach now is just private mentorship. I'm not teaching at any university or anything like that, but I teach as part of a program called Smart School, which is a group, like a collective of teachers that do these like weekly intensive mentorships. And they're remarkable. They're not cheap, but they're pretty awesome. And then I help run a website called Muddy Colors, which is this website dedicated to free art education. And I basically just wrangle people like artist friends into posting once a month on there. But every single day, there's something educational and totally free up on muddycolors.com by like an astoundingly good artist. So,
yeah, that's been around like what, 10 years now or something?
Like 12 almost now, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, Muddy Colors is awesome.
How do I do my taxes as an artist? Like it's all on there. There's like tons of information. It's a deep dive if you go into it. I got to find a better way to organize it maybe, but there's a lot there.
It is super important because people are always asking me about those things. Like, how do I do my taxes? How do I do this? Because there's just a big lack of resources to learn all those things.
I know. And I hear all the time, it's like, oh, well, I never learned that in school. It's like, well, neither did we. They don't teach any of that in our school, it seems like. So it was important to me to make sure there was a resource for that afterwards.
We had like a 20-minute optional seminar. It's like, come up here if you want to learn about the business part. And it was
the most important part, just in case.
If you want, it's just optional, and it's so important. It is the most important part.
It is. So. It's actually, I'd attribute it as one of your main skill sets. I think every successful artist I know is not only a really good artist, but also a really good business person. And I don't think you can do it without I think you're better off being a great business person and a mediocre artist than a great artist and a mediocre business person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of really great artists out there that probably feel really bad about themselves, that like they feel like I'm not a good artist because
I still feel that.
Because they don't know how to market themselves and they don't know how to do the business aspect of it, because that's hard. I mean, it's really hard.
It's hard, and it's getting harder and harder. Honestly,
it is getting harder and harder. It's complicated, and in some ways, there's a lot of resources out there for it now, and. But it is hard, and the tax part of it, and the organizing and it is hard. So, but it's glad there's more resources online. So definitely go check out Muddy Colors and everything.
That's why it's there. Yep. Yeah, and then we also do, in addition to Muddy Colors, we do a Patreon where we make a video every month that gets a little more in depth and tutorials and things, basically to just augment the expense of running the free blog. So if you want to support the blog, you can go over to the Patreon. That's great too.
Patreon's awesome. I love Patreon. It's just, especially for artists nowadays, because you can just, it just helps artists keep doing their own thing. Just to have that way to have collectors keep supporting them.
I think more and more the art industry it's like direct to consumer. It's artist to consumer. And that didn't used to be the case. You had to have an agent or you were doing commercial work or something. And now I know so many successful artists that are just doing the con circuit, or they're doing Patreon, or they're doing Kickstarters, and it's all their self-generated work. And you're literally just mailing your stuff right to the person buying it or posting whatever. I think Patreon is this like, there was never anything like that 20 years ago. You know, you just couldn't. Yeah.
No. I you see the old paintings in the museums, and people forget that the masters that painted a lot of them had patrons that paid for them to just exist and paint. Yeah. And if they didn't have like patrons or rich people that just were like, here's a bunch of money, just paint, then they would never be able to do it because they would have had to, go to get jobs. And nowadays there's not people that can just be like, here, Dan, here's a bunch of money, just go paint all the time. But instead we're doing the crowdsourcing, which is a lot of people paying you $5 a month instead. They equal that one big patron that's just giving you money so you can paint. And so it's just, it works really well. So, even if it's just, part of your salary. So the artists definitely should set up a Patreon. But it took me a long time to actually get around and set one up because I was really afraid. I was afraid of setting up something that would stress me out.
Same. And it does stress me out. And it's just one more thing talking about how much harder it is nowadays to advertise yourself and stuff. It feels like this never-ending obligation of just one platform after another. And I was really reluctant to do Patreon, but I feel like more and more, just the way I see all the industries going, is like every industry is just taking more rights from you, and I don't want my career contingent on somebody else's business. Whether Tor Books does well or whether Marvel does well. Like, I want to have my own career. And I think the nice thing about Patreon is that, it puts that power back into your hands a little bit. Your career is not dependent on someone else's quite so much. Yeah.
You can do what you love. And, inevitably when you love something, there's other people out there that will love it too.
So part of my plan of me doing me a little bit more in the future was setting up a Patreon. It's rather new for me as well. It's less than a year old because I just want to cultivate my own clients, my own fan base, and start seeing what happens.
So this is different than the Muddy Colors Patreon, though.
Oh yeah. I have my own Patreon as well that I just started. The Muddy Colors Patreon I've been doing for quite a while, for not as long as the blog, but maybe 6 years or so. And that, like I said, it's like a video every month. So we've done a lot of great videos there. But my Patreon is just mostly about the Muddy Colors thing. I try to separate myself as much as possible. A lot of people don't even know I'm responsible for that because it's not supposed to be about me. And hopefully someday it's somebody else running it. It has nothing to do with any individual artist on that blog. It's a collective of us.
Cool.
So hopefully I'll pass the reins one day on that.
You're like, gosh, you're just moving it on. Don't want to deal with it. One less thing. So what are you going to be doing with your work then? What do you want to paint?
So I'm working on private commissions. I've got about a year's worth of private commissions lined up that I need to make my way through. And my hope is, this all sounds spoiled. I'm at like the spoiled stage of my life, but I want to do the best paintings I can. I don't want to rush against a deadline anymore and be like, this is the best painting I can do by Tuesday. It's like, no, I want to do the best painting I absolutely can do. So I've got about a year's worth of private commissions lined up that I'm just hoping to kill it on. And I'm maybe 3 months deep into that list right now. And I'm really proud of the stuff I'm doing. I really I'm cutting no corners. Some of these people are waiting way too long for their paintings, but that's because it is not leaving my studio until this is the best thing I can do. So
you can wait. You'll be fine. Just like it.
Yeah.
It's nice to have deadlines, but it's nice to not have to rush. It's just when you constantly feel like you're rushing, you just know you're not doing your best work. You're like, it's good enough. And everyone's like, I love it. And you're like, yeah, but it could be so much better.
I flourish under that pressure. I do well with commercial work. I do well under deadlines. I work well with difficult clients. It's always been a skill set of mine, but 20 years is a lot. And it's you put yourself by I can't tell you how many family vacations I missed because I was stuck working because of a deadline. Literally all of them, 100%. So it's time to stop that.
Me too. How many Christmas? You're always working on the holidays. Everyone's like, I always need it after the holiday. And you're like, oh.
No. Everybody needs everything before the year's end and stuff, or the Christmas rush. So it's always Christmas in particular is really busy. And I think maybe this generation of artists that are a little younger have a better work-life balance for whatever reason. Maybe it's just more emphasis has been placed on healthy habits. My generation is not very high. Like it was always emphasis on just work as hard as you possibly can. And I think that's been carried through too long.
They learned from looking at you. They learned to going, "Ooh, I don't want to do that." Ooh,
yeah, probably.
That's horrible.
I learned from my parents. My parents have always, like, my mom's always had 2 jobs, like it was kind of part of it. It's also, we have an immigrant family, so work ethic is a big thing.
Yeah. Athena wants to know if you have any tips on launching a Patreon.
It's hard to say, like I'm old enough that I'm not the best person to ask about how to market yourself online, but I will say with Patreon, the nice thing would be targeting your clientele. So if you have a mailing list, that's what you should be building up, and then targeting those people for your Patreon, or anybody who's ever bought anything off your website. Like if you have a Squarespace website, Squarespace keeps track of every customer you've ever had. Those are people that have already spent money on you once. It's much easier to get somebody to spend money on you a second time if they're already a customer. Likewise, like at conventions, I do a mailing list. Like I'll oftentimes give away a free item if you sign up for my mailing list. And that mailing list is gold. It means somebody took time out of their day to actually stop and physically look at your work. And those are the people you want to hit up for your Patreon.
Oh, yes. I always tell people, the students, start getting that mailing list early on, right at the very beginning, because you're going to need that later when you start doing a Kickstarter, because you can't just do a Kickstarter from nothing. Because it's not going to succeed unless you have a mailing list, because you really, really need that list.
You've done a couple Kickstarters yourself now, right? I know like one.
Like 16 of them or something.
Oh my God, have you really that many?
Yeah.
Oh, a nightmare. Are you doing all the fulfillment too, or is all that
Yeah, we do all the fulfillment. So yeah, we just finished one. I do all the fulfillment, all the Kickstarters. I've done 6 books or something like that, and a bunch of prints. Every time I want to do a print of my own that I just in between doing commercial work, and I'm like, oh, I have a gap here where I need to fill something. I'm like, I'm going to do this print, and I'll just do a Kickstarter just to make sure just to have it paid for, and then I'll launch it. And I have some limited editions that I just do through Kickstarter. That way I have my own client that I've made through Kickstarter, and I get it fulfilled and I fulfill it. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So
Kickstarter is like a great pre-order, essentially. It's really good.
It is, and it's nice. Let's see. Athena says she's having trouble getting people to join her mailing list. Most of them are just wanting to follow me on social media.
Yeah, you need to give them an incentive to do it, Athena. Like I said, I give away free items sometimes, so you could say, on social media, be like, I'm giving away 10 free prints to anybody who signs up to my mailing list, like raffle draw, just post a screenshot or something of you signing up or whatever, however you'd manage it. And I know a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of people don't want to join mailing lists. I notice I try not to to email my mailing list too often, because it gets, I don't like getting 50 million emails.
I do once or twice a year, basically. Give them a head on new items. Yeah. And it works every time. Every time I use it, I'm always like, oh, why don't I do this all the time? and then I forget about it. But I'll do, usually twice a year, I try to do a big release of something, a new poster with tote bags or something, for just as fan service, ultimately.
You forget to do your mailing list too, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because every time I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should be releasing more things. But then I'm like, oh yeah, but I don't like to get. I remember I signed up for a mailing list from an artist once, and they just started mailing me like every week, and I'm like, stop mailing me. Yeah. No, it's irritating.
You can always unsubscribe, I guess. Like, I've encouraged people, like, if they're reluctant, just like subscribe for this contest and then unsubscribe tomorrow if you want. No big deal. And getting them to subscribe is the hard part. So where
did you learn all your business sense and everything, since you didn't learn it in college? Did you learn it?
I was really lucky. I mean, a lot of it's through trial and error, obviously. But when I was about 16, I met through a variety of just serendipity. Like, my friend's girlfriend's dad and my best friend's friends. There was a guy in our town who was an illustrator, lived in my town, and my art teacher introduced me to him. And he just so happened to be the president of the Society of Illustrators at the time. His name is Stephen Stroud. And so I suckered him into like basically mentoring me one day a week when I was in high school. And up until that point, my only exposure to art was just TV and comics. Like I never like really been to an art museum or anything like that. That's not something like my parents did. And I showed Steve like all the artwork that I really liked. And I was showing him like Michael Whalen and Dave McKean and all this stuff. And he was like, that's called illustration. That's what you want to do. I was like, well, how do I do that? I was like, go to school for illustration. And so I just started like really focused. Like by the time I was 16, I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do, was that. And I just hung out in the studio with Steve day in, day out. And I watched him do all these professional jobs. I watched him go hand deliver jobs. And when you would still do that and go do revisions on the spot for his client, I watched him do his taxes. Like by the time I was ready to go to college, I already kind of knew how to run an art business. So.
Wow. You were lucky.
I was super lucky. Yeah. So it kind of dispels the whole like, oh, like how can you be an artist? Seems impossible for a lot of people. But when you actually just see it being done and you're just like, oh, you just advertise and you just do this and you do this and you do this and you're seeing somebody actually, just pull that veil back. It made it all seem a lot more doable.
I wonder how he learned to do it now.
He went to Pasadena Art Center College of Design, and he also went to that school like in the 70s during its heyday a little bit. He had a great graduating class. He got to study under Baron Story. And there was like kind of this like whole, like, it was like the Sid Mead era of art kind of going on, a lot of car concepts things and 70s style illustration. So I think he just like was kind of in a hotbed for illustrators and just having those connections with peers and whatnot. And he's a social guy, so he made friends locally in New York and volunteered, like signed up as a member of the Society of Illustrators and met other people and signed up for the board and just like started becoming active. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I like the Society of Illustrators. I used to go there a lot. So to the drawing class, there's drawing up on the 4th floor and everything.
Yep, they're great. Society's great.
So
yeah, it's been too long since I've been there now that I moved. So
yeah, when did you move away?
Just under 10 years ago, but I had grown up in that area the whole time. I think maybe I am still to date the youngest member of the Society of Illustrators ever. I've been hanging out there since I was 16, like when I met Steve. And so I was like still in high school and getting to like meet Bernie Fuchs and Tim O'Brien and like all these like people that I was like, this is cool.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. So, oh, no wonder you like to teach and everything. That's awesome. And you are an excellent teacher. So I've seen you teach when you've been down to the society. I went down to the Illustrators of the Future. So you're awesome. You can tell when somebody really likes teaching and they're not just like, all right, I got to teach now. So you really just get excited about it. So.
I like teaching, but it's also this like this pay it forward thing. I really wouldn't be doing this if somebody didn't just help me with it. There's no way. And so I feel like there's an obligation to pay that forward a little bit, which tends to be kind of like an indicative thing in this industry. There's a lot of that. Like the first job I ever got was a contact that another illustrator gave me. He was like, this is the person you want to email. And that's always kind of been the sci-fi illustrator thing, is this rising tide raises all boats thing.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, I think the teaching comes down to like fandom, that I fucking like sci-fi fantasy art and I want to share it. You want to know how to do it? I'll tell you. Like, I love this stuff. I'll talk about it all day long. Like, sorry, can I not swear? I probably shouldn't swear.
No, you can swear. Yeah, you can swear. You can totally swear. That's fine.
Yeah.
So no, you're good. You're good. Swear all you want.
So
you can have a big old potty mouth on here. So.
It's one of the few fields where everybody is a fan of the thing. That's why you do it. Nobody's getting into sci-fi fantasy art because the money, So it's kind of
if you're listening to this because you want to be an illustrator because you want to be rich, you're totally you're in the wrong field.
Not that it's not possible, but that should not be your driving factor.
But yeah, no, I do agree though that everybody that I know that's an illustrator just absolutely loves it. They're a complete geek and are really passionate about the techniques or the other artists. That people love talking about art.
And it's all consuming. Like it really is like all consuming. Like the people who tend to be into this and are doing it, it's like, this is their life. This is all they think about, all they talk about. Nobody's like, oh, and I just kind of do that on the side. It's like, no, that's it.
Yeah. My daughter Kat went to one semester of art school and decided it just wasn't for her because she tried to talk to the other students there and they didn't want to talk about art. And she's like, this is the strangest thing.
That's insane.
She'd like bring her books down and be like, hey, you want to talk about art? And they're like, no. And she's like, what? Why are you even here? They're like, I don't know. She's like,
people aren't going to make it. They're not going
to. No. So she's like, I don't think this is the right place for me. She just decided she's just going with me to conventions and she's just jumping in and just decided she's just going to just dive in and she's learning other ways because she's like, they're just weird. They don't want to talk about art. And one of them's like, I want to learn how to do conventions. She's like, okay, well, come with me. There's one this weekend. I'll show you how to do it. They're like, no. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
What? You just said you can come with me. I'll show you how to do the conventions. I know how to do this. I grew up doing this. They're like, nah, I don't think so. And she's like, oh. No. Real artists are like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
I remember being so perplexed at kids in college skipping class. And it was like, are you kidding me right now? This is expensive as hell. I was paying for most of school myself. And it was like, it came out to quite literally $500 every 3-hour portfolio class or whatever. Like every day I would have 2 of those classes. So I was spending $1,000 a day when I was broke. And it was like, you're going to skip right now? You're insane. And so, but yeah, that's what college kids do, I guess. I didn't. I never missed a single day of college.
No. In fact, it's sometimes if the teacher's like, hey, do you want to sit in on this class for free? You're like, oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. You go sit in on other classes for free. So yeah, I would skip a class. I never skipped any classes.
No, never. No, and to be fair, anybody I can think of that was that kind of student, I don't know what they're doing now. I sure don't know their art. So
yeah, I never. Another thing is the class she went to art school. They had 11 hours of figure drawing for the whole year, freshman year, and the model canceled 5 of those hours. Oh my God. And so they just canceled the whole class. And I'm like, this is a drawing class. Why don't you just draw something?
That was as long as I had that in 1 week. Our drawing class was like 8 hours long, and people would stay late and show up early. Like, yeah. Right.
And the teacher just canceled the whole class. And she's like, I don't understand this at all. And I'm like, no, honey, this is not a good school. So we're going to go somewhere else.
I think that's also the teacher thing. Like I said, a lot of teachers are not artists themselves. Like they teach because they're teachers, and so their relationship to us a little bit different. It's just work at a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, don't cancel the drawing class. Draw something else. Here, draw this, draw that. Sit up there yourself. Draw your friend.
That's one of the best. I mentioned I've taught every grade level. I taught high school for a little bit, and we did life. I just ran it like a college life drawing class, and we would just let the students take turns posing, and it's like the best life hack, by the way. If like you're running an art class, there's always inevitably in high school, there's like some troublemaker in the class who's just going to ruin it for everybody. And I would just make those kids the models. So they were like dead center of attention, got all everything they wanted, didn't have to draw. And it worked out beautifully. And then everybody else could draw them. And just like a solid 45 minutes, like I'd have their pads laid out when they walked in and just like handle it like a college class. But it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember drawing my friend in high school, and we'd have to draw each other with a different hairstyle from a different era. So I think she drew me with like a 60s beehive hairstyle or something. We had like birds coming out of it and stuff. It was just, so I don't know. There's so many different things you can do. So, all right, what's Athena? Athena says that I'm so excited. I'm launching my own art curriculum next month at a local gallery. I love teaching and building up other artists.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Awesome.
So
that's very cool. That's I'm mentioning trying to build a studio. One of the things I want to build that studio for is so I could teach my own classes out of there as well. Like
I can't see you never not teaching.
Do that at would be nice, but having your own spot is great.
Yeah, I have my gallery here now. There's actually an open art walk going on this weekend. So I have people just going through and they're all looking in the window at me and I'm all like, hey. So
Yeah, you have actual storefront, right? For your
yes, I have a storefront and a gallery and a gift shop actually. So and it's an art walk. It's like a whole art walk for the whole county that I didn't know was going on today. And so
having an art walk today. There's one in Greensboro, North Carolina. There's one in Wilmington, North Carolina. Like this is the weekend for it, I guess.
I guess so. Todd had asked earlier if the hurricane affected you or not.
A little bit where we're at. It affected some of my family that's out west more in Asheville, which it's the arts town in North Carolina. It's just devastated. I have no idea what they're going to do about it. That town has been renowned as being one of the artsiest communities in North Carolina for decades. And there's an area called the River Arts District that still has dozens and dozens of artist studios, like actual working artists and not just galleries and stuff. And it's gone. Like, and when I say gone, it's just gone. And I know they're going to rebuild this eventually, but I can't imagine that when they rebuild it, it's not going to be 3 times the cost. And I don't know how they're going to get artists back into those spots if they do.
I can't imagine. Yeah. It's just not the same.
Yeah. Hopefully they do. The town really does rely on the arts tourism a lot. So hopefully they prioritize that.
Corey says, I am a teacher at Whiter Center Heights Elementary, and to have artists like you come in and talk to our students would be amazing. I don't know where Whiter Center Heights Elementary is.
Yeah. Corey, find somebody local. I used to, I was mentioning the serendipity thing. I actually met that guy, Steven, my mentor, the first time when I was in like 6th grade as part of a career day at school, and everybody else would like go see the cop, go see the fireman, go see like whatever other job you want to do. And then there was an artist that would come in and it was him. But I still do that. Like I did like my niece's, like her career day at her school to go in and talk. And I'll do that to local schools sometimes. So Corey, just find any local artists in your area, see if they'll come in.
Yeah, I do that too. I do the career day and stuff and everything. So
yeah, the wrong path.
The what? Yeah. So, yeah. Do you ever see those public service commercial things where they I think they're the comics that are like, that they're made like the drug commercials.
Yeah.
They have with the kid with the parents talking to the kid with, he's got the pencils. They're like, oh, they caught him with the pencils, and they're like, oh, you can't have the colored pencils, you'll end up like an illustrator like your uncle.
It's true. Be afraid.
Like, I'm just doing what I saw you do, Mom. So, but anyway.
Bellingham. Is Bellingham near you? Is that who? What is
yeah. Athena said there's so much happening near you. I didn't know Bellingham has a Comic-Con. It has a little tiny Comic-Con, and actually it's in Ferndale, which is a little bit north of me. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a little tiny one north of me. And I'm like, just go up for the, go up and do the little tiny local one. Sometimes the local shows are the best.
Yeah.
So there's
we have one in North Carolina, Heroes Con, which is
Heroes. I've been to Heroes.
That's a testament to it. It was just a small local con, but whereas most other cons are like, I'd say like 90% retail room and 10% artist, Heroes is the opposite. It's like 95% artist and 5% retail, and it's great. And so it just ends up attracting artists from all over the place. Like I'd see New York friends in the middle of like Charlotte, North Carolina. It's great.
Heroes is fun. That's just, you're right. It's all artists. It was
like literally all artists. That's all the floor is. It's a giant expo. Art expo.
Giant artists. I would totally still go to Heroes if I was on that. Do you go to Heroes?
I couldn't go for a long time because I was always teaching a class called the Illustration Masterclass, the IMC, which always overlapped at the exact same weekend. And I did that class for a decade, and it kind of ceased during COVID. So I've been able to attend finally. And I believe next year I'll be one of their artist guest of honors.
Cool.
So
it's just fun because it was like you said, it's all artists. So it's so much fun to go and hang out with other artists and just, talk to them. And that's
I need that. I feel like it's some of my best friends, and I see them 4 times a year. And it's like, and then the rest of the time we're locked up in our studios working all by ourselves. Like I need this like little social, like give me as much like art friend as I can get over a weekend, and that'll hold me over for 6 months.
Yeah. What other shows do you go to?
I do Dragon Con. I exhibit at. That's quite
only. I don't even see you at Dragon Con. You're there, but you're like in the other building. And
we're always both working.
I know, and you're in the other building, and I'm like always like, "Hello, Dan."
Yeah,
like,
I know.
3 blocks away. I never even saw you.
That's the only one I kind of like exhibit at anymore. And then I attend several. Like I might pop into New York Comic Con. I might do lllustrator this year. Usually I try to do that one, which is in Pennsylvania. And it's just, again, all artists, remarkably good artists. Heroes Con I'll check out. I'm blanking on any others. And then lots of times little ones, if I get invited, like I might do Kansas City Planet Comic Con next year. They're having like anybody that asks me as a guest, I'll usually do like 1 or 2 appearances a year.
Yeah, those are always fun. So are you going to go to LuxCon this year?
It's in like 2 weeks, and I have to get off the fence. I really
it's coming up. So.
I've been doing so much driving and traveling, and I really, really just want to be home for like an extended weekend, and like I could use that time for myself. And but on the other hand, like I said, it's like my chance to see friends that I haven't seen in a long time. I have some friends that are coming from overseas and stuff that I won't get to see again for a while. So, I don't know. I'll most likely go.
Do you ever go overseas? Do anything over there or not yet?
Not yet. No, that's one of the things I've been wanting to do. One of my friends that's coming to lllustrator, Lucio Perillo, is a remarkable artist and runs an atelier in Italy. And I keep thinking about like maybe taking like a 6-month trip and just doing like a European tour and do a different country every month and just teach a workshop. Like do one in Germany, do one in Italy, do one in Portugal, and just kind of putz around. We'll see. It might be too late till both my kids are in college, but that's not that long. So.
You had one of them looking at colleges this year, didn't you?
Yeah, and then the other's just a year off or so or 2, so it won't be long.
So close, so close. You're so right at the finish line there.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want to be at the finish line. I like having my babies at home.
Well, I have one that's good. That just decided she's going to do shows with me now. So, now she's.
My youngest wants to be an artist, and I keep telling him that I don't even know that college is the best way to do that anymore. So, yeah.
I think it depends what you put into it. I mean, depends on the person. That's what I tell people. So,
the person.
College might be the best road for some people, might not be the best road for other people. It depends what you get out of it, what you put into it. So,
yeah. I think there's also this, the idea of your daughter doing conventions and stuff that people think there's like this moment where you become professional, and there's not. It's just this like sliding scale. And the moment you start doing those cons, it doesn't matter if you're 15 years old, you're a pro at this point. And so my youngest has done a few pet portraits and stuff like that. And it's like, man, if you just set up a craft fair in Greensboro and sell some prints, you're a professional artist. That's it. Maybe you don't make a lot.
I just introduced her booth to people as this is her first year as a professional artist.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. I say, oh, this is my daughter's booth. This is her first year as a professional artist because she has her own booth. She has her own business license. She has her own bank account as a business. So this is her first year as a professional artist.
And that's it. And then you're done. Like that's it. Like everybody thinks like, oh, I've been working towards being a professional. It's like, no, you already are a professional. Like you're working towards making more money at it maybe, but being a professional artist is a rather easy entry point. No one's stopping you. No
one's, there's no
pressure. Yeah. It's not a position.
You don't need to have a degree, really. I mean, she's making her art and she's selling it. So she's a professional artist. So, but I'm still working on becoming a professional artist.
Yeah.
But the gallery is good. Like just people. It's fun. I like having my new studio space. I have these 2 windows here so I can just watch and close the door. And Laz bought me an on-air sign. That's a big red on-air sign so that when I have the podcast going, it just says on-air like a radio broadcasting thing. So
does that mean people can watch you paint too in your studio all the time?
They can. I face it away from them, so like
I
don't want to look, and they all go like this, and they peer.
Sometimes I don't mind painting in front of people, but not day in, day out. Like if I'm sketching, like I don't even want like my wife coming in the room. Just like I'm like way too focused and like it's so ugly half the time. So
I don't face it I face it so that I can see them and they can't see what I'm working on unless I want them to, because they get a little bit like, no, I'm working. Don't judge me while I'm working. I'm very private when I'm working. So same. I don't know. I don't like to work live. I don't know about you.
No.
You like to work in front of people?
It's a skill set. I like it's part of teaching. You can't do it without teaching, or you can't teach without doing that. But no, on my personal work, I like, even like I'll sometimes have people come to the studio and hang out, and they could be dead quiet, and it still just bothers me having another body in the room with me when I'm like deep in that state. Like it depends on what phase of my painting, but if I'm idea generating, no, just like leave me alone. I'll lose a week in a black hole in my studio and be fine.
Yeah, I don't like other people there because you're distracted. You're like, you just feel like you have to pay attention to them. You're like, no, just go away, stop it.
Yeah, no, doing it on display. I do it like as part of my class is I paint live and I paint over other people's work as part of it. And I am good at it, but it's mentally exhausting. It's like you can't do that all the time. Like being on display, like you're performing and teaching and trying to produce good work is truly exhausting.
Yes. I think I saw you do that at LexCon once, and it's exhausting. It's just hard. So, yeah, but it's just easier when you don't have anybody around. Definitely, I don't like anyone around.
Sometimes there's give and take. I do like it. It's nice to be in a studio environment with other artists and like getting feedback when you want it. Like the ideal for me is my own private studio right next to somebody else's studio. So when you want company, you can go over there and get input, get whatever. I did a concept art push a couple years back with Ian McCaig and Carla Ortiz and a couple other really remarkable artists. And I have to say, just like, it was 4 days, and I learned more in those 4 days than I think I learned in like the past 4 years, just because it was new info coming in all the time and different points of view and just sharing artists and other inspiration and stuff that I was like, oh, I forgot what it's like to be in that environment, you know?
Yeah, that is nice. It's nice to be around other artists and to talk art and everything. So, because otherwise, if you don't get out of your studio, nothing new comes in. You end up in like a recycled tank of no fresh water, so that's why I like traveling. It's so important to just get out of your little space, so get exposed to new stuff. So but I liked when you were talking about, I think you were down at Illustrators of the Future, and you were talking about how you were shooting reference and everything. I think you were showing us I don't know where you were showing us. You're showing us how you were shooting reference and how you were talking about how you had to shoot reference underneath a car or something.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, I don't remember.
Just jack up the car. Yeah, I needed the bottom of the car. That's how you do it.
Yeah, you were talking about how you were, because we were talking about shooting reference, and then you were like, oh yeah, I needed to jack up the car and get underneath the car and shoot reference under the car, and it's just really neat to see how other people do the same thing as you do. So
that's another thing that's changing rapidly. That I now with 3D and everything, everybody, or Google Images, like even just, I don't think artists realize like just how groundbreaking freaking Google Images was for illustrators. That prior to being able to just like, if you want to like paint a 57 Chevy or something weird, like, and you can just type that in and here's a 3D model, or that you can light or pose, or you can find random photos. Prior to 2000, like your only option was to go hunt down the real thing. And so you got real good at taking photos and doing practical photo shoots, or you had to like have like a scrap file. That every illustrator had like a filing cabinet full of drawings that they kept. And I would go to the New York Public Library, had a photo library. So like like the second floor of the New York Public Library, you could go and you could say, like, I need a portrait of Igor Stravinsky. And rather than just pulling the one book off the shelf on Igor Stravinsky, you go through the file and it's like, here's every magazine clipping photo of Igor Stravinsky in the past 30 years. And on the back, you would like sign it out just like a book when you'd fill out the like book cards for the library. You could see every other illustrator that like rented that photo that you're like horses. It was great for horses. And I didn't know a horse. And so if you needed a photo, you'd go to the library and you could see like, oh, like Brault's painted this horse. Oh, Steve painted this horse, and like, and go through and see all these, like what the artist already used. But getting images was like difficult. It was difficult and a craft in on itself. And so, yeah, I'd set up complex photo shoots because that was the easiest way to do it. Like,
and you didn't have a digital camera. You couldn't use a digital. If you took pictures, you had to get the pictures developed. Yeah, and if they came out wrong, well, too bad. You had to shoot them again.
Yeah, yeah. When it's not cheap to hire models and stuff. Yeah, it was a whole process. But I think that's since carried itself over to my workflow that I'm not afraid to do a photo shoot now, and I can do it quickly. Like it's actually really efficient. I have costumes. I have good cameras. I know models I can call. I think that's such an apprehension for artists nowadays that they'd rather spend 3 days kind of getting something similar on Google Images, kind of getting the 3D model to look all right, rather than just hiring a model, you know?
Yeah, hire a model, or, you know, use your friend or something, or depending how good your friends look or how, you know, if they have the right physique and stuff.
Jack up your own car and photograph your own car. Yeah, it's makes a difference.
Yeah, and you don't need to have when I get costumes and things, you have to remember you don't need to look at what the colors look like. You just need to make sure the shape of the costume looks right. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you have to have the right ruffle. I mean, the costume itself, if when you taped it all together, it can look just awful. As long as the shape looks right, you can you paint it right yourself. You know, it's just there's so many models duct taped to walls and things. Like, I'm just gonna tape this to the wall. Don't mind that. And then you don't have to worry about everything because you're going to draw it, and stuff.
And not everything needs to be on that one reference photo. Like I do really detailed sketches for the starts of my jobs, like overboard. Like I'll spend a full workday on a sketch just from imagination, because then it lets me know exactly all the things I don't know. And it's like, okay, I don't know how to do that drapery, or I don't know how to do that hand, or I don't know how to do this lighting. So then when I go do my photo shoot, I very specifically know the things that matter to me. It's like, those pants don't matter. I got that down. Those like whatever, like, and I can do it in different photo shoots. It's like, maybe I just need the shirt. So I could do that with my wife. I don't need to wait for the model, or maybe I just need the background. So I can just do that, or whatever it is. And yeah, there's always an easy way to get it. And it doesn't have to be all this like one insane complex photo shoot that gets everything for you,
Oh yeah, no, you can, definitely don't. And you are a master at lighting everything. Lighting is so important.
Lighting is hugely important for my work in particular, I find. But
yeah, I could phone my lighting in a little bit more because I'm Art Nouveau, so I could be a little flatter.
Yeah, so. That's it. Comes down to the more graphic you are, I think the less lighting matters.
And if it doesn't look right, I can just throw some flowers over it. That's usually I just throw a little decorative this, a little decorative that, It kills my friend because I'm not really great at the math of the rose window. If it doesn't line up, I just throw some flowers over the back. She's like, "Oh, Echo, God, your math is off." I'm like, that looks fine. Just like, no, don't fake it.
I'm like, what? Fog. I make a mist over the whole bottom of the painting. Little fog, fade things back. It looks fantasy.
It's more organic that way. See, no one will know the geometric that it's off. She's like, "But I know," and I'm like, no, it's more organic. Your brain sees it's not, mathematically correct, and it sees it more as art. She's like, "You're just making that up." I'm like, "Yeah, we do that. We just make shit up." So, wow, we're like almost out of time. Holy crap!
This goes by super quick. Yeah, this goes by super quick. This is how you have so many of these episodes already.
I told you, it's so much fun. We just make this up as we go along. That's what artists do. We just do. So anyway, is there anything else? Any other advice, sage words of wisdom you have to partake upon your other young artists or people?
About anything in particular, or?
No, not really. This is an open forum for you to give words of advice that don't have anything to do with anything in particular.
No, I don't know. I try to keep my advice to myself nowadays. I don't think people like my advice. My advice is usually you're just not working hard enough. is a lot of it.
Work harder.
And do the weird thing you like to do. I think I'm a really obsessive person. I think a lot of my artist friends, this is what consumes us day in and day out. I think that obsession, that passion that people have that's really what it comes down to. That's more important than any innate talent people may think you have or you think you have. That the passion is what ultimately keeps you going, and just foster that as much as you can. Doesn't matter if you're just like, man, all I want to do is paint cats and hats, and just do that 24/7. Do that over and over and over.
You're making fun of my new cats, aren't you? Because I know I've been painting cats for the last 2 weeks.
Whatever it is, it's yeah. I think it's and they're always the best things. I love seeing people whose work is just this obvious, obsessive. This is the thing I'm really into, and I think those are usually the people that are met with success at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just paint what you want to paint, and other people will get excited about it, because you can tell. You can tell when someone's excited about it.
Yeah.
Even if it's sort of weird, but you can completely tell when that's what they're excited about. And there's so many people in the world. There is definitely an audience for whatever you're excited about. So.
If it's good, you'll find people who want it. And I think conversely, the opposite happens all the time. That somebody wants to be a professional artist, so they start painting the things they think everybody else wants, and it's that's a surefire way to not succeed. It's immediate. It's step one for most artists is well, what does everybody else want to see? And it's nah, just do it.
They can tell. People can tell if that's not what you're excited about. You have to do what you're excited about.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but people can find you at dandossantos.com.
Yeah, you can find me at dandossantos.com. My Patreon is just Patreon/Dan Dos Santos. I have a big sale going on there tomorrow. We mentioned that Marvel card set I did. I did 135 paintings for Marvel recently. And I'm selling off.
You were so tired when you were doing those. Oh my God.
It was insane. It was a painting. I think I told you it was one painting every 3 days in oil.
You were so tired. I remember seeing you and you're like, I'm taking 3 days off. You're this is great.
Yeah, and I hadn't taken off. It was 14 hours a day, every day for 2.5 years without not one single day off, not one. But I'm finally done with that. And I'm actually almost finally done. Even selling. So then selling all the paintings took a whole other year of my life. It was crazy. So tomorrow I'm unloading quite literally the last of it is some of these preliminary drawings I have. I'm doing that on my Patreon tomorrow. And then, social media is almost all Dan Dos Santos, Facebook, same. And then there's always Muddy Colors to check out.
Definitely. So. Well, thank you for taking your time to join me, and go take the rest of the weekend off and stay safe. And everyone else, keep making art and keep at it. And I will see you guys next week.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.